This is the Mahindra 3XO, and it's a slightly different execution in the car review that we would normally do. So a bit more POV compared to normal. Now, we've been driving this car for the past week, and overall, I really like the way this car looks. I think it's stylish, I think it's fun, compact, zippy for around town, but offers plenty to love for most customers and most consumers that are after a small car around town. The car itself is an XUV 3XO AX7L. It sounds like I've just written some code, to be honest. I think that's probably the one thing that hopefully Mahindra changes over time and just narrows it down to just 3XO, or calls itself is fantastic. 7-year warranty, 150,000 kilometer coverage on that warranty. You got parking sensors at the front, parking sensors at the rear, 360-degree camera system. So camera down the bottom, camera on the sides, and of course a camera at the front. Front styling, I kind of like it. It almost reminds me of a Star Wars-y type aircraft. I don't really know Star Wars, so if someone in the comment section can let me know what I'm thinking of. But basically put the headlight shape on both sides and then kind of draw like a little line in the middle, and that reminds me of some of those aircraft that I've seen in Star Wars videos before. Daytime running lights and headlights are LED as well. You have fog lights, you have a cool, funky looking front that's completely different to everything else in the market in this segment. So I like that it has its own unique styling instead of just following kind of a shape that looks like every other shape. The color on this as well, being gold, is sandwiched between a layer of unpainted black plastic at the bottom and the black painted roof at the top. Now this is a top model option in terms of having that painted two-tone roof. And I actually quite like it. It breaks up the color, but also gives it kind of a cool little funky vibe. Let me know what you think in the comment section around that. Now, factoring that this car is $26,990 drive away, this is where the inside gets interesting because you have soft touch materials at the top here that are really nice. That double stitching line there, the gloss black finish here, which I'm not a fan of, but it's done all right. Power windows and mirrors up here. You've got a plastic down the bottom that's hard wearing and just a general tough plastic at the bottom. The one thing I will say though is it's scuffed up a lot less over the time that we've had this car than other cars that I've had where we've done a similar review and review period. Inside, parking sensor button and the stop start button. I don't like stop start systems, so I've turned it off, and the parking sensors I've turned off because I find that they are a little bit too sensitive. You have the interior, very comfortable, synthetic material, premium material, whatever the marketing slogan is, but basically it feels like leather. It's just not leather. It probably will actually wear better than leather over time because of that. You have a manual adjustment for the seat and manual adjustment for the back. There is no lumbar support, which is the only thing I can criticize about the seat, but it is perforated, which is quite nice, and in summer might be a good little feature, and perhaps in the future it might get ventilation and heating, but at the moment it does not. The carpet floor mats and the accessories for this car. I will give Mahindra credit. They've designed a carpet floor mat that actually is a little bit better than most of them in the competitor space for this segment. Digital display at the top here gives you all the information you need, plus blind spot monitoring. Every time you turn your indicators on, those wing mirrors will turn those cameras on to give you that there. Steering wheel is only tilt adjustable, it's not reach adjustable. It has cruise control and it has the audio controls just there. And that's what the camera looks like in a 360 mode. You have the guidelines for the front view, you have moving guidelines for the bird's eye view, and if you put this car into reverse, it will also give you moving guidelines for both screens in reverse, just not in forward. If you're wondering what the right-hand side is, that's actually just the sonar for the parking sensors. So as you get closer to the little sensors, they will light up. You've got air conditioning vents here and on the sides, which are very easy to use. They're traditional, so you're going to get air exactly where you expect them to go. They're not going to be weird adjustments like some other brands are bringing out. A couple of hard touch buttons just here for things like the drive mode, stability control, and your rear demister. Plus, you have dual zone climate control settings just here, which I think is really good and impressive for a car in its price point. Down the bottom here, you do have a wireless charging pad. You have a USB-A outlet and a USB-C outlet, which is capable of 65 watts fast charging. You may be wondering why I've got a cable plugged in. That's just a personal preference on my side. The car does come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you'll be fine when it comes to that. Cup holder just here, which caters for a 600ml bottle. That's the bottle for reference and the depth of the cup holder, or an Apple AirPod 4 case, just in case you're wondering how deep that segment is. I thought initially that I might have cups tipping out, but it's actually held things quite stable in there, so that's been good. Auto hold button for when you come for a rest at the stoplights, and also the electronic park brake just here. Transmission is a standard traditional pull, push it up, push down. It's not a weird kind of new age, you've moved it, but it goes back to its neutral resting position, so you'll be fine just there. I do like how in the door pockets you do get the dual section there for bottles or cans. The first one right at the top is actually pretty good when you're putting in Red Bull cans, so that's another big plus as well. Push button start just here, and that's basically it. As you move to the rear of the car, you do have actual handles, which is fantastic. You've got a decent amount of leg room, and to give you an idea of just that leg room, that's the leg room just there. So you have pretty decent amounts. I'm 5'10", I'm in the back of this car and the seat's in the 5'10" position. Aircon vents just here, USB-C outlet just there, and a 12-volt outlet underneath. Panoramic roof, which gives it so much space at the top here, and the seat position itself also gives you 2 ISOFIX points on the outer 2 edges, plus a drop-down armrest for cup holders as well. The back seats are 60-40 split, so they're pretty easy to drop down. You just pull the little handle at the top there, and that drops down like so. To pull it back up, nice and easy again. Let's check out the boot space. And before we go into the back, you'll also find over here, there's bottle holder and little storage in the door pockets, which is really nice. Now, the back of the car, I quite like the styling. I think it's actually quite smart, funky, but a little bit modern without being too kind of weird. Parking sensors at the back and the camera, as I mentioned earlier. Open up that tailgate and you have a decent amount of space in the back, which is fantastic. So you will have space for a 55cm Samsonite suitcase, my fold-out travel duffel from Samsonite, and the Samsonite Eco Diver medium bag, plus my boots, and of course the case for this camera. So you do have quite a bit of space there for whatever you need, and I actually quite like that. The other cool thing, before we wrap this up, the wheels, you get a smart looking alloy wheel, but it's wrapped with Goodyear tires, so you're getting good established brands, not these weird brands that you've never heard of that sometimes ruin the drive performance just to save a couple of bucks. 17-inch alloys as well, should be super easy for you to replace those tires over time at a very minimal cost as well. So you get that benefit as well for what you're doing. The only thing that would have been nice is perhaps maybe a little cargo blind, but perhaps that will be an accessory over time. And that's all I could really fault with this particular car. So let me know what you think of the Mahindra 3XO, 3KISS, hug, whatever you want to call it, and the 8X7L, which I always think is referring to an axolotl. But that's the car. Let me know what you think. Let's go for a drive and we'll wrap it up. So driving the 3XO around the city streets of Melbourne, what is it like? Well, I actually like it. And I like it a lot more than I thought I would like this car. Visibility is really good. So I can see really clearly over the bonnet and out the front. I can see really good in my side mirrors. I can see really good out the sides in general because the windows are massive. And having the panoramic roof on this particular model, which is the top model, it also gives me a lot of light in the cabin. So it's a really nice, pleasant feel inside the car to make it feel bigger and more light and airy and open than what it actually might be, because it's still a small SUV. That's actually really important because in places like Melbourne, where we're driving this one, most of the time the outside conditions are pretty gloomy, so you're not getting a huge amount of sunlight coming in at the best of times. So having just some natural light in the cabin as you're driving just makes it feel really nice. Suspension is on the softer side, so the only times that you're really going to feel that is on the highway, where you're kind of getting a little bit of a, almost like a cloud boaty type feel to the drive, particularly as you navigate some bends and turns. But around town, it's pretty comfortable at absorbing some of the harder bumps and lumps that seem to, make up Melbourne city roads. And if this was in Brisbane city, it probably would absorb a lot of the terribly built Brisbane roads as well. The digital display in front of the driver has responded and reacted consistently the whole time that we've had it, so there's no glitching, no disjointed information coming up, which is really good, particularly given in the price point. Sometimes some other brands have had screens that are less than reliable. There's no freezing. It all works. The driver assistance warnings, I will say, are some of the best in class, and I might be happy to be proven wrong, but I think they are best in class for the price point in these budget SUVs, because you don't get any of the annoying bells and whistles and alarms that you get in almost every other car now in this price point. Mahindra has actually executed on what is required by ANCAP rather than what is the easiest solution based on one piece of software being written for the whole world. So what that means is I get a visual a visual notice saying that my car has got to the speed limit if it goes to, say, 61 in a 60 zone, but I don't get the annoying beeps and bongs that you would normally get in other cars that this car competes with in this price segment. The lane departure alert is not intrusive. It holds and helps you maintain the lane, but it doesn't yoink the steering wheel left and right to kind of force you back into the lane in an unexpected way when you're already in the lane or even leaving the lane. It just does it in a really well executed way, like other higher end brands. So they've done a good job with that. A couple of things that I find a bit quirky, and I would be keen to hear your feedback if you've driven one or if you own one. The steering wheel, it seems a little bit thin. I don't have the chunkiest of hands at the best of times, but it just seems like it's a bit thin for a steering wheel. I don't know if that's just a subconscious thing because it doesn't feel as chunky as what many of the other brands are bringing out, but that's one thing I've noticed. Some of you may like it, some of you may not. It's only tilt adjustment for the steering column. There's no reach adjustment. That is a little bit annoying because it means I have to sit in a slightly different position in order to be in the car. Visibility all round is actually really good in this car, so there's no issues there. The beeping that you're currently most likely hearing is the beeping that tells me that the cars in the other lanes have been sensed, and it can be quite inconsistent. Sometimes it turns on, sometimes it doesn't. The car itself has stop-start functionality as well, so when you come into a halt in some traffic, you're going to stop altogether. USB-C and USB-A, which we mentioned before, makes it super easy to charge devices, and the main infotainment system in the center actually works pretty good, and it's a Harman Kardon sound system, so you get some pretty good audio for what is a car that is under $30,000, which is fantastic value. The camera system is actually pretty good. It's a 360-degree camera, gives you bird's eye view, and it's pretty clear at day and night, which surprised me. I thought it would be lower quality for the price, not because of the brand. So all in all, I think Mahindra has actually executed on a really good design for the price. So you're getting fantastic value for money, but you're not necessarily compromising on a poor quality experience because you're spending less. You're actually getting a pretty good experience for the money. The acceleration is actually pretty on point. Like, it's not laggy at all. It's pretty punchy around town. Whenever I've needed to put my foot down to merge into traffic, it's done it really well. What I actually find impressive is the gearbox kind of figures out what it needs to do, although sometimes it can be a little bit lurchy, but more so at lower speeds where it's unsure if it needs to go a bit faster or if it needs to kind of hold back. But I am learning how to drive with this particular gearbox. And the seat comfort, well, it's actually pretty comfortable, although I think it is made for less husky gentlemen. So chunky blokes like me might be a little bit less comfortable in it, but I don't think it's uncomfortable. I think you'd just be less comfortable. So it's not a seat that makes you sit down and go after 20 minutes, oh, I need to get out. It just makes you mindful that perhaps you need to make some better food choices or exercise choices, which is all I've been thinking while I've had this car. The driving position as well, the steering wheel is centered, it's not skewed left or right, and your natural resting position for your leg is in the right spot as well. So you're going to be comfortable all round in this car in many, many ways. So I couldn't speak more highly of this car in the price point. And Mahindra is really well established in the country. So I kind of would lean towards questioning why someone may not choose this car. Other than looks on the outside. You might not like the looks because for some people they really like it. So other people, they kind of don't really know what it's like. So let me know in the comment section, is this a car that you would consider? Would you consider buying a Mahindra 3XO? If you've driven it, let me know what you think of the drive. Am I right? Am I wrong in my initial assessments? And do you like it?